And I'm actually gonna wrap it up so the bugs don't get it for a second and grab my water. I wanted to just eat some food and talk about spiritual gardening because, as some of you may know, I've been doing a series on spiritual gardening. It's been really fun and it's been really helpful and insightful for me. I think okay. That's so awkward. Thank you, Nunya Bliss. Because as I was saying, I was like, I'm just gonna eat my lunch and talk about spiritual gardening. It's been something that's been on my heart to share more of, and I've been sharing a couple of shorts about it. Hopefully I'll continue to share shorts. I'm working on a field guide, and I work, as pretty much a gardener now, and I love it, and it's really cool. This is also my first meal since my fast, and I'm so happy right now. Okay. So good. So good. This is for you. Okay, so spiritual gardening. I think spiritual cultivation is more common, and both are the same thing, right? It is to actively and consistently work on slowly and progressively improving your environment, your soul, which counts your whole life experience. It's like the stream of life that flows through everything in order for you to experience life. And I love connecting the dots between the physical world and how it is tied in its relationship with the spiritual. This is so good. I love food so much. Yes, I was brought to Earth. I definitely came to Earth for the food. Out of all the places on the planet, I'm gonna have to get up. So spiritual gardening. What is it? Nobody really uses that term, and I started using it because, actually on TikTok, it's ironic that gardening is the term people use for smoking marijuana, which I didn't realize until I looked up gardening. I found all of these videos of people referring to gardening as that. I was a little confused, to be honest, but I understand the algorithm, censorship. I thought this is ironic because I'm talking about literal gardening, but it is a plant, and that is cultivating their spirit. It's literally called weed. And what is this symbology there with weed? Well, I think a weed is something that you crave. It's something that you continue to crave the more that you have, the more that you crave, because the more it seeds itself everywhere. And in Jamaica, where my mom is from, it grows like a weed. It's a really prolific weed. But anything in spiritual gardening can be a weed if you find yourself craving more of it, kind of dependent on it, and feel overwhelmed without it. Just it causes these feelings that aren't like necessarily the best for your spirit. My motto is medicine in moderation. Like anything can be a weed if it starts popping up and you were not intending it to be there. The real problem is when the weeds get out of hand and you literally cannot control them because there's too many. Like you take one, it's like whack-a-mole, and another one pops up. So how do we weed out the weeds in this like spiritual sense? We have to weed out the weeds by realizing that they're there in the first place and we don't want them there, because that's all a weed is. A weed is something that is a little aggressive in its growing tendencies. Even if you don't want it there, it will pop up. You never intended for it to be there, and it's there sucking the life-giving energy from another plant you may intend to be there. Weeds are generally quite aggressive. They can grow out to compete other energies. It's important to realize in spiritual gardening that it's never someone else. You are the one in control of what's going on in here, because it's your garden, it's your spirit, it's your life. And sure, you may have received that seed from, an outside experience, but that is your choice. If you choose to cultivate it, to leave it there, to do nothing, it's still gonna grow. To do something, take the seeds out, or even to sow the weed seeds, right? It's up to you. And so taking that self-accountability is super helpful. It's super helpful. It's really good. I just ordered pizza. I'm waiting to grab it. Very cool. And yeah, very cool. No dogs out here, unfortunately. I love pizza. So good. So if your soul is like a garden, bless me, allergy season out here, and everything around you is kind of like connected. They're all like these little strings that are connecting them, pulling things in, pushing them away, It's that big electromagnetic field that runs through your heart and spans out and is connecting, creating the relations with the rest of life. That's what your spiritual garden is. And so you get to choose what cords you want to strengthen, and you get to choose which cords you'd like to cut. I have some fruit as well. Some like watermelon, raspberries, and watermelon. I said watermelon twice. I meant blueberries. The watermelon is in there. And these are like candies. I'm like, wow. Ah. It's very nice. Very good. So if your soul is like this field, electromagnetic field, which interconnects and sends these cords of attraction or repulsion to all of the different other energy bodies around you, and your spiritual garden is literally just cultivating and refining these relationships with every other ounce of source, then how do you get more of what you want, and how do you know what you want? I mean, I think some people know what they want more than others. Hi, BTS arm girl. That's okay, Jim. Yes, knowing this. Gratitude is the key. Oh my I'm a little sad. I ate that a little bit fast, that last bite. Because it was so good. Anyways. So if your soul is like this field of strings, relations, electromagnetic pulses communicating to each other, each one can be seen as like a plant, you know, that stem that branches out. And then it produces fruit. And the fruit, it is really important to be grateful for the fruit. And I 100% believe that maybe I'll do an experiment this season on 2 tomato plants. And on 1 tomato plant, I will just pick it like I normally do, and I'll count how many, and I'll try to make sure that they're in the same area, they're getting the same amount of water, all of that, same type of tomato. And I have some right over here. Right over here, some vegetables. So I'll do that, and 1 plant, I will say thank you. I will also give the first fruit to God. What does this look like? It just means that I'm not the one eating it. Sometimes it will be like giving to a loved one, or giving it to the animals if they eat it. Or it could just literally be putting it in the ground. But intentionally giving the first fruit to God, and then the other one leaving alone. So that's 1 experiment to see which one will grow more. The second part is to say thank you to the plant every time you pick from them. I got in this habit of asking permission, like, can I take this? And, you know, sometimes it's easier, they'll release a little easier. There's a hawk up there looking for their lunch. Feeding a rabbit is a great idea. I already know the rabbits are feeding on my bed right over there, but so the experiment would be which one would produce more of a higher quality produce. I feel like I don't even have to do it to know that the one that you say thank you to and the one that you share that gratitude to the plant, but I still will do it, and I will get back to you guys on this, is going to produce more. And I've done this on like a smaller scale, not as like refined with the variables, but I've done this with certain plants, said thank you, I've shared that gratitude, that excitement for receiving that fruit, and the next thing you know, you have more fruit than you know what to do, and you get to give it away. But gratitude is really important, and I think the same thing applies to our spiritual gardening, you know, practice when we are harvesting the fruits of our labor. We could take this job for instance. I really wanted a job working in a park so I could have green space and help steward the land. And for 2 years I just volunteered whenever I could, and I'd find opportunities to go and help with no expectation other than I'm just happy to be here, I'm happy to learn. And eventually I got a job offer. I'm not going to say one of the best parks, but it definitely has some of the most money because of its location and the relations it has. And it needs the help, I think, as well, the most. And also, it's just been really a big blessing because the people that hired me wanted me. It wasn't like they opened it to everyone. They specifically asked me, and I was like, this is kind of crazy. And I do feel like it's because of that gratitude for cultivating the presence of gratitude and just being thankful to be there, thankful to learn and to do the work. A lot of other things in my life, I would say, are definitely tied to this idea that gratitude gets you more things to be thankful for. I'm so thankful for you guys. Like, y'all are crazy, you know. Not really crazy. You guys are like a good sane. Got you, Jim. Yeah, God definitely does have me here for a reason. And I've definitely learned a lot. You know, that future, that app that I'm working on, I'm learning a lot about, like, these are the people that are going to be using it. This is amazing. Gratitude brings good things to you. And it's a beautiful thing. So gratitude is very cool. And when it comes to reaping the fruits of your labor and that last step of harvesting, which is you receive your manifestation, I think what happens when we receive something that we've been wanting for so long, it doesn't feel real. And we kind of like take it, not for granted, but we're like, I thought there'd be more hype than this. Sometimes, not all the time, of course, but sometimes, you're like, wow, I reached this point. I've made it this far with developing my application. Sometimes it's kind of like, but this is wrong. And, I was expecting this to be a little bit better. And it's almost easy to undermine the fruits of your labor. Like, I've been trying to grow carrots and the rabbits keep eating them. We'll see. But there's been times with the garden where the harvest is poor or it's looking really weedy. And instead of being thankful, for, oh my gosh, this is amazing. There's a garden. Things are growing. Sometimes I'll be like, oh my gosh, this garden's not looking good. There are weeds growing, it makes it harder to harvest from a place of purity and love that's actually helping you grow and give. Instead, sometimes harvesting feels like I don't have enough and I need more, so I gotta take this. This ties in with the last spiritual gardening reel about patience. If you are harvesting a unripe fruit, which happens a lot, especially I live in New York, maybe it's a little different in other states, but I think you'll find that they'll harvest a lot of fruits before they're ripe, and then they'll add some hormones to ripen them up when the time comes, but it's still gonna have that kind of like hard, it's not ripe, like an unripe avocado or banana or apple. It may look yellow, or it might just stay green the whole time. These fruits were brought to us because of the convenience, and they were like genetically modified to look ripe, but be picked early when they're not actually ripe. And that can be a little troubling because when they should actually be ripe, they're spoiled. And being spoiled is this whole other thing. And I've been having a conversation with some family members about, raising kids and family and how, honestly spoiling someone. My mom was saying this to the kids that she tutors. You don't want to be spoiled. And some kids think that it's love, to get what you want all the time. But that's not love. That's straight up spoiling. And my mom said, you don't want to be spoiled because what are spoiled fruits good for? They're good for nothing. I mean, obviously they're good for compost, but what, are you going to throw this spoiled person's carcass into a pit? No. No. So we're not here to spoil ourselves. We're not here to spoil our gardens. We're here to do the work that is necessary so that you can receive the fruits of your labor when it's time. To know when it's time to pick the fruit. That takes discernment. That takes knowing how to look at the fruit and to watch it. Like literally just looking at the fruit and watching it. Watching it grow, watching it ripen, and then knowing this is the time to take the fruit. Or the birds will get to it before you, and that could be a good or bad thing depending on who you are and what you were intending to do with the fruit. I hear like a groundhog, not a deer, but probably a groundhog, maybe squirrels. So thanks. I think the rabbits, they're here. They're happy here, and they're happy to have such a feast. And you know what, honestly, I have plenty of carrots. They can definitely have them. As long as somebody's eating them, enjoying it, like that's a lovely part. of course, I've been thinking about harvesting, and part of the end times will be like harvesting. There will be some of us that will be not ready, unripe. There will be some of us that are spoiled. Just they went too far into the resurrection already. And there will be those that are just ripe, that will be picked and brought up. Now, do I know what's going to happen? Will the souls reincarnate? I mean, some kind of form of composting will happen, I'm sure. Energy will not be destroyed or created. It will be cycled through in another form. But they do describe the end times a lot like, in that one parable in Mark, I believe Mark 13, where it's the parable of the tares and the master with the weed and the weeds. The enemy sowed the weeds in the master's wheat field. Everybody was like, oh no, what are we gonna do? Should we take out these weeds? You didn't plant these. And they were like, I did not plant those, but don't take them out, because you're gonna disrupt all of everything that's growing. Just wait, just see. So in the other light, it's like, oh no, these people are doing something that's like not what we intended. Should we just... And God's like, no, wait, let them cook, because the day of harvest is gonna come. God's gonna send the angels, and the tares will be taken first. If they will be burned, and then the wheat will go in the barn. So I feel like I should leave off on that. And leave with the question, how can you grow good things in your spirit? How can you cultivate your soul today? That's all I'm going to say there. I hope that you enjoy. I hope you're enjoying the series. And eventually I'll come out with a PDF. I'm looking forward to it. A little field guide. Might be a book. Of just everything that I've learned through this deep time and reflection and practice of spiritual gardening, aka spiritual cultivation. Yeah, I pray that you can go cultivate your soul in the direction that you want it to grow. And I'll see you in the next video. God bless. Namaste.